Welcome back to Ireland AM. The time is now 8:20. Endometriosis. This is a condition where tissue similar to the lining of the womb starts growing in other areas. It can result in severe pain, chronic fatigue and fertility issues.
Now, Her Voice aims to give people living with the condition, well, a voice. And we're joined by the founder, Robyn Murray, and also by Ella O'Riordan, who was diagnosed with the condition when only 8 years of age. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you both for joining
us.
Robyn, can we start with you? And I mean, the Her Voice project, it's a huge support for women with this condition.
Yes.
Tell us about it and why you decided to start it.
Yeah, so when I was diagnosed with endometriosis, I tried to look around for supports and I noticed that there wasn't many, especially in Ireland. What I was finding was threads online with Reddit and things like that. And I ended up meeting my friend Lisa, who's my other co-founder, who unfortunately can't be here today because she's not well. And we decided to start Her Voice project on Instagram because people go to social media now for absolutely everything. And we thought, I don't like the term, but we were like, influencers are out there. And I was like, let's influence women with endometriosis to find their voice, to find proper supports and, just a girlhood, really, to be honest, where you come to our page and you message us and you're believed and we see you and we understand you.
OK, there's a word that you just used there, believed, because that is an issue. Endometriosis is something that has clearly been around since there have been people with wombs, but it is only now being studied and hopefully understood. It takes on average 9 years to get diagnosed in Ireland.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened? Robyn, we're going to start with you. What happened to you?
So I had my first daughter when I was 21, and from there, after I had her, the pains I was having in my stomach were horrific, down my legs. I was experiencing really heavy bleeding. And when I went to the doctor, they said, well, you've had a baby, it could be pregnancy, side effects. And I kind of thought, that doesn't sound right. But I was 21, so I took the doctor at their word. And then it just continued to get worse. I was missing work, I was flooding myself. And it got to the point where painkillers would not touch off anything. And I went to see doctors, both public, private, and they kept saying, your blood tests are fine, there's nothing wrong with you. And then it was suggested perhaps maybe that I was imagining it or, over-egging it to get time off work. One doctor actually said to me, perhaps you have a low pain threshold, that can happen to women. And I just felt so lost and I really did go into myself. And it was really devastating, to be honest. And that's now, that was 8, 9, 7 years ago that I was hearing that. And I thought times had changed. But when we started the page, people are still saying that, doctors are saying that to women. Even up to yesterday, I'm getting messages on the page.
So they're saying, oh, you've a low pain threshold, you're grand.
You're fine, your bloods are normal.
Your bloods are normal.
Yeah.
So
giving birth isn't hard, it's grand, you're fine.
Yeah, but this is a case where it wouldn't show up in an average blood test. It doesn't show up
it does not
in
show
a blood
up.
test.
No, it doesn't.
So this is what they're saying, and there's it's just incredible that you've to go through all this.
Yeah, it is. It's actually disgraceful, and it really puts women in that position of just feeling like they're second.
You were 21 when you had your first child and all these symptoms started. Robyn, what age were you when you started getting symptoms?
I was 8 when I started getting my symptoms.
8 years old?
8.
So what happened when you were 8? What did your body start feeling?
I started getting really bad stomach pains all of a sudden, and they were only happening in the morning as well, which was really random. And we were going back and forth to the doctors and they were like, oh, she's trying to get time off school, and they weren't really doing anything about it. But as it kept continuing, they were doing blood tests, they were coming back fine. They were like, oh, nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong. They tested me for celiac and they said it was celiac. And then it wasn't a celiac and it was anxiety, and they kept going on like that for years.
So, how many years?
8 years.
So you were 8 years old, and you got diagnosed with endometriosis when you were 16?
15, sorry.
15 years. 15 years of age.
Yeah.
How did they finally get to that diagnosis?
It took me going back and forth from the doctors a lot and going to different gynaes, and I ended up in A&E twice, where my first hospice day I was told to get pregnant down there at 15.
Sorry, hold on.
You were told to get pregnant?
Yeah. I was told
a doctor told you need to get pregnant?
Yeah, she goes, pregnancy would help your symptoms.
What?
Yeah, and my mother wasn't even in the room with me. It was when I was by myself. Yeah.
That's not uncommon, actually.
What do you mean it's not uncommon?
For that to be said to women that in Ireland especially.
Get pregnant.
To get pregnant or go into a chemical menopause, which is something that I did also.
So basically they're like, you've got a bad period.
Yes.
If you get pregnant, you won't have a period for 10 months. You'll have a bit of a break.
Yeah, they missed the whole point.
Can I just ask,
Yeah.
sorry, Miriam, I know you're great supporting this, and I didn't know anything about this until we started interviewing guests, and I suppose lots of people don't around the country. Why is it so difficult to get diagnosed? What is it about this condition?
I really do believe that it's because women go to the doctor and they're not believed from GP level up, so you don't get the referrals. And I think it's very, very easy, and I'm not trying to stand on a soapbox, but to dismiss women. And I know that if men were going with these exact symptoms, exact pain, that they would be referred. But unfortunately, we actually don't have endometriosis specialists in Ireland.
Oh, there is no specialist.
There is no specialists. So I had 2 surgeries here and they were failed surgeries. And then I decided that I needed to, I have 2 children myself. I wasn't able to take care of them properly. I was always in pain or on painkillers or in bed. And I decided to go to Romania to have specialist surgery.
And what was that ablation? What was that?
It was excision surgery. So yeah.
So where was the endo, can I ask?
Yeah, so the endo for me was in my pelvic region and in my bowels, and it had wrapped itself around my appendix.
So this is the lining, it's like tissue that is the lining of the womb, which will obviously
grows in other places.
Grows in other places. It has symptoms of your period.
Yes.
It's a lot, right? So there we go there. It can grow anywhere.
Yes.
For you, Ella, do you know how far yours had gone?
I had it on my left ovary, beside my appendix and my pouch of Douglas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so it had grown quite a lot.
Yeah.
Between the ages of 8 that had started at.
Yeah.
And can I ask you then, when you got the diagnosis then, how did things change? When you actually get the diagnosis, how do things change?
When I got my diagnosis here in Ireland, my first surgery, not much changed. I didn't really have any aftercare. My pain came back 6 weeks after surgery. And when I went down to see my consultant, he told me to go into medical menopause. That was his suggestion for me whenever
And what's a medical menopause?
It's an injection that you take every few weeks and it just sends you into menopause. It shuts down your ovaries.
So, like in women...
What age were you?
I was 15.
You were 15.
15.
So get pregnant and medical menopause.
So
I've
they're
been
saying
told 3
either
times.
get pregnant or go into this. And then you hear of all the things that women say when you go into menopause, all the other side effects that can bring on.
Yeah.
I did go into a chemical menopause before my hysterectomy, and it was probably one of the worst periods of my life. It's a very, very strong drug, and I was in my 30s when I took it. So to think that it's being offered to teens is absolutely crazy.
Robyn, you've had a hysterectomy.
Yes.
When was that?
I had a hysterectomy 2 years ago this September.
And why was that?
So I have adenomyosis as well, which is similar to endometriosis, but a hysterectomy is a cure for adenomyosis. And it was kind of sold to me like, I think all your pain is coming from your adenomyosis. So I decided to have a hysterectomy. I was lucky that, I feel really blessed that I already have 2 children, but it was a difficult decision to make.
Huge decision.
I wasn't sure if I really was finished my family, but I needed to make the decision to see, I needed to be there for the kids that I already had.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a huge, huge decision mentally, physically. I was off work for 3 months and unfortunately it didn't stop or change any of my symptoms.
You went back only, 8 weeks ago for more surgery?
Yeah, so I did research and like that, connecting through the page, it's a space where we can share so much information. So I had heard of the Bucharest Endometriosis Centre of Excellence in Romania. So I decided to take the chance and go there. And I went to Romania for 2 weeks and I had what I would call, for me, life-changing surgery. It was absolutely incredible how I was treated there. And when I spoke to my surgeon, I said to him, look, I'm really nervous. This is my 3rd surgery. And he said, no, Robyn, it isn't. It's your first, because they did not take away all your endometriosis surgery here. And he was so confused.
Romania has a centre of excellence and we
Yes.
don't have one doctor who specialises in this country.
Now,
No.
this is a private.
Yeah, it's
that you
private,
went.
but...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Robyn, you've had to leave the state as well.
Yeah.
Ella, you've had to leave the state as well for surgeries.
Yeah. I went to Oxford in England for my surgery.
And what did they do there?
They did the excision surgery there.
Excision there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. How have you been since that?
So much better. It has been a complete difference. Like even waking up from surgery, the constant pain that I used to always have was completely gone already. It was so much different than what it was here.
So you were in, by the time you did that surgery, you were in constant pain?
Yeah. Every day I was taking painkillers. I couldn't go without them.
What would you, like, we've spoken to some doctors now who are starting to specialise in endometriosis here who are like, oh, listen, they literally didn't talk about it 5-10 years ago. Like, we didn't have we weren't taught about it in medical school even.
Yes.
And now we have the situation where women are very much involved and going, no, we need to start advocating for our patients.
Yes.
9 years to get it. Oh, what would you like to say, Robyn, to people, and what do you want to say to, you know, the government in relation to this?
I'd like to say that to follow through on the promises, myself and Ella have gone to 1 or 2 forums with the Minister for Health, and while I do think she is trying to make real change, it needs to happen sooner, and it really needs to start at the bottom at GP care, that when women go, that they're not dismissed, that they're, you know, as we had said, like a presumed diagnosis, and, you know, refer them on to these centres and get them looked at. And as well, just more awareness. And that's why we did the campaign and partnered with Micromedia. We took it into our own hands at Her Voice to get out the campaign. And I felt that Ella was the perfect person to be the face of the campaign, to get just how young
I have
she is.
endometriosis. This is a new campaign that you are the face of from the Her Voice
I felt
project.
it was so important to show someone so young going through this. I mean, it's crazy.
Listen, we really appreciate you coming in
Thank you
and
for having
talking
us.
to us about this. 8 years old when you first started getting symptoms, which is something people need to realise. You can find out more at the I Have Endometriosis campaign, and it is with the Her Voice project. One of the co-founders, Robyn Murray and Ella O'Riordan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
We really
you
appreciate
so
it.
much. I really appreciate you giving us the time.
Thanks so much,
really
guys.
incredible stories.
If, of course, you have any concerns or worries, please make sure you contact your local GP in relation to anything that's going on with you.